Hello, my friends, and welcome to Sharing Calm. My name is Sydney, and today I have a yin yoga practice for you that'll be just a little bit over an hour in length that I have planned. There are a few things that you'll need handy, and I have some options in case you don't have these, but first and foremost would be a yoga block or something similarly shaped to it if you don't have a yoga block specifically. If you have two, that's great. If you have neither, then another option could be some sort of a pillow, preferably something more rectangular rather than square, but work with what you have. A pillow instead of a block or blocks if you do not have these specifically. In addition to that, or those options, also I'm going to be including some myofascial release techniques just at one point in our practice today. And for those, I'll be utilizing these foam balls, one larger, one smaller. These foam balls do have a nice squish to them, so they're not too hard. Bigger one, about the size of a tennis ball. If you have a tennis ball, that would work well too. I wouldn't go with anything harder than a tennis ball for our purposes here today. If you have nothing like this, then you'll be able just to use your fist, your fingers, your hand, so no worries in that regard. Also, a smaller foam ball. I wouldn't go bigger than like a clown nose. If you have a clown nose, that could work well. Don't know why you'd have one, but maybe there's someone out there that does. Or small, like a marble, not too much smaller than that. I would not use a marble. That would be too hard. You do want something squishy. Again, if you do not have something like this, no problem. Your fingers, your fingertips and thumb tips will be a perfect replacement. So there's no fret there. For our practice today, we're going to be focusing primarily on the upper body. And when I'm talking about the upper body in general, I'm typically referring to hips up. So oftentimes in yin yoga, we focus a lot on the low body, the hips, the legs, the hamstrings, the calves, and so on and so forth, which will have a tiny bit of that here too today, but for the most part, above the hips, a little bit into the obliques, but even more upper body than that. The large focus of our practice today will be on the shoulders, the upper back, the neck, and the jaw. So if you have tension in those areas, or if you often feel like you carry stress, strain, and tightness through the shoulders, then this practice may benefit you, and I hope that it does, and you find some relief. But all of that being said, let's get started here right away today. Beginning by coming into a comfortable seated posture. Any seated posture will work perfectly fine here to start, just sitting up tall. You can sit up on something, cross-legged or kneeling. Let the shoulders rest down from the ears, the arms relax, hands rest in your lap. And maybe you let the eyes close. Start to notice how you feel through your whole body here at first, from head to toe, the entire essence of your physical body and how it's presenting itself to you in this present moment. And then notice how you feel in particular in your jaw. Can you soften the mouth, part the teeth, relax the tongue, and let that softness cascade down through the neck, down through the shoulders, down through the whole spine. Notice the breath within this body that you're already sensing. Right here and throughout this practice, try to let the breath do whatever it has to support you. Let it flow without constriction, without holding it either in or out. Let energy flow freely. And for a moment here too, as well as the body and the breath, witness your mind. Witness the mind steadying with this concentrated present moment awareness, beginning to take root. Blink the eyes open if you have them closed. Grab hold of your block if you have one, and start to lay down onto your stomach. If you don't have a block, you can use your hands for this first posture. It'll be a neck stretch. We will take the block or your hands underneath the chin. So the goal here is to extend through the cervical spine, so the front of the neck and all the muscles in that area are being lengthened. So either the hands under the chin, your block under the chin. You can take the block lower or higher, depending on your level of comfort, trying to make sure you don't have any pain from compression through the back of the neck. You won't be here for too long. And as you find this shape, you also want to make sure, it's difficult, that you're not squeezing the upper teeth and lower teeth together. Try to let the teeth and the jaw be relaxed here. Inviting a lot of space into the throat. And follow the path of the breath as you settle into stillness here for a little bit of time. If you have a block, the aim is not to have really any weight onto the arms, just enough to support you so you don't feel like you have to clench the teeth. Take one more breath. Lift yourself up off of whatever you're using to support. Make a pillow with the hands or the arms for the forehead. Let the back of the neck grow long as you relax and rest the head down. And then take your left arm out to the side. It can be straight out or have a bend to it, palm down or palm up. I like palm down, but I found over time there are many people that prefer the palm to be up, so that is your choice. This posture we're going to find here is called open wing pose. So you'll take your right hand under the right shoulder, press into the ground, start to roll onto the left side of the body. Left side of the head should rest down on the ground or a block. You can bend your knees in front of the body so you stay balanced here. And that top leg is always able, if you have the rotation in the low spine, to step behind you with that knee pointing upwards to the sky. And in that case, the bottom leg, left leg, might remain long or have that bend to it, your choice. Right hand can also stay out in front of you, kind of working as a kickstand. And some like to wrap the right arm around the low back, maybe even reaching it towards the left hand It might have an interlace there. As you can see, I'm far away, but if you have that, you might like to find it for yourself. Aiming to feel something through the front of the left shoulder, left side of the chest, and perhaps even down the length of the left arm. And on your next exhale, take your time, gently roll yourself all the way back down onto your belly, down through center, transitioning to the other side, taking the right arm long or with a bend. Remember, palm can be up or palm down. Left hand under the left shoulder to help you press onto the right side of your body. Knees bent in front, or that top leg steps behind and the bottom leg goes long. Left arm stays in front if it needs to be there for support, or you take it around behind the back. If being on the floor for this posture is uncomfortable, this is a great one to utilize a wall for. In particular, if you're finding it hard, like you're teeter-tottering on the side of your body, and just standing next to a wall, opening the arm, and starting to twist the chest away from the wall from there. Noticing where you feel the posture, feel your body within the pose, and then feel the breath within the body. Be right there. Exhale, release. Gently back down onto your belly. Take the hands under the shoulders and press yourself up onto all fours. And find a comfortable seat. You can kneel or sit cross-legged here. That's up to you. Sitting tall. Noticing already what has changed, how you feel. Do you feel any more space through the front of the chest, the front of the neck? Sit tall through the spine. And then allow the right ear to gently drop down towards the right shoulder. And pausing right there in this neck release. Not straining the neck, just gently leaning it over to the side to a comfortable degree. Gently roll the chin down to the chest. Lift the head up through the center. And take it over to the other side. Left ear down towards the left shoulder. Try to let the jaw be as loose as possible here. Exhale to roll the chin down to the chest. And gently lift the head back up to the center. Take your hands down in front of you so that you can tuck the toes all the way under, especially the big toes. Then press your hips towards the heels. Let your elbows rest down onto the ground. You might interlace the hands if that's comfortable. You can keep the neck lifted and long, or let the head release heavy, chin to the chest. The focus here is primarily on the stretch through the toes. For today's purposes, focusing on that big toe. There's this concept of mapping the sections of the feet to different parts of the body. And it's thought that the big toe, the actual toe, is like the head. And the length of the toe between that big toe mound knuckle and the tip of the toe, right before the toe gets big, is really thought of as the neck. And then the big toe mound starts to get into the shoulders, the upper torso, all those organs there. And start to lift the hips away from the heels. Untuck the toes. You can rotate the feet a couple of times. And you'll come now to sit back onto your heels. And then let yourself scoot to sit to the left of your feet. So kind of like you're sitting in this little mermaid-ish pose. Sitting up tall. We're bringing our awareness to the obliques, the side of the torso. And you might already be feeling something there, just sitting upright with the legs over to the side. If you want any more, then taking your right hand outside the right foot, leaning to your right. Notice what you feel here. And if you're still seeking more sensation, then the opposite arm, left arm, can come overhead and reach to the right. Or you can take the hand behind the head, leading the head back into the hand. Notice what you feel here. If that's too much, always the arm can release back down. Breathing that whole length of the side of the torso all the way up into the side of the chest, shoulder, neck, and jaw. Take just a few more breaths here. And if you have that left arm overhead or behind the head, releasing that down, sitting up, coming out of the side bend, shifting to the other side. Take it slow. That's a big stretch in the obliques, especially down towards the hip and low back. So you're shifting so that you're seated on the right side of your feet now. Feet over to the left side of your body. Remember that sitting up tall right here might already bring enough sensation into the right side of your torso, and if so, just stay right where you are. If you're seeking any amount more, left hand can come down, lean to the left side. Notice what you feel here, and maybe you stay. And perhaps you add the arm. Right arm sweeps and reaches overhead, or the hand comes behind the head so that you can almost lean the head back into the hand. Notice what that does for you there. Once you've found your position, nothing to do but resolve to be still, resolve to be present, resolve to be content as you witness the present moments passing in front of the mind's eye. Take a few more breaths. The arm is lifted, releasing it down as you start to bring the spine back up tall. And take your legs and bring them into some sort of neutral position so that you can sit as comfortable as possible here now. Sitting up tall through the spine, grabbing hold of your foam balls or whatever you have. Your hands or fingers are already attached to you, so you have those if that's your option. And you'll take the larger ball or a soft fist with your hand. And what we'll do here is a technique called pin and twist. So either with the ball or your hand, I'm just going to demonstrate on the opposite hand. You'll essentially pin and twist. Pin and twist. So if you're using just your fists, you'll be pinning and twisting. Obviously, there's some pointy knuckles in parts of the hand, so you might need to do it a little bit softer, but that's the technique that we're going for, and we're going to apply that to the muscles in the neck. Specifically, the muscle referred to as the SCM, which I believe is a muscle that refers to the sternum, clavicle, and masseter muscles, so the muscle that your chewing muscle in your jaw all the way down, kind of the front side of the throat. If you turn to the side, oftentimes it's this big, thick muscle that sticks out and comes all the way down. You have one on each side of the neck. So that technique of pinning and twisting with your ball or your fist is what you'll utilize here. And pardon if it makes a funny noise in my microphone, but starting just above the clavicle, you'll kind of find some divot areas there. You can just feel a little bit of pressure. Start really light. Don't start hard. Just pinning and twisting just above the collarbone. And then you take it really slow, starting to move up one side of the neck, pinning, twisting. You can lean your head to the side, stay up, or turn it to the side. Maybe you try different positions of the head, getting at that muscle at different angles, and kind of keep moving up towards the back of the jaw, just underneath the ear. And then you can take that and go all the way back down again. Down that muscular line. You should feel it. If you're unsure, then just definitely don't press too hard. There's a lot of nerves and veins that run through the neck that we don't want to affect in a negative way. So then you just go really soft, explore your body, find what feels good. And you can go back up one more time. Remember, pinning and twisting. That's the goal here. And then back down. And then taking it to the other side, starting just above the collarbone, finding the areas above the collarbone. You can even go along the length of the collarbone towards the center line and even more farther out. Should all feel good there. And then finding where that big, thick muscle line goes and start to pin and twist upwards, tracing that line. You lift the ball up after each pin, twist, lift, move up, pin, twist, lifts. In case you can't see exactly what I'm doing, going all the way up, pinning and twisting towards the jaw, just underneath the ear. And then tracing that back down again towards the clavicle. This is personally probably one of the tightest areas on my own body, so I know this feels good for me. You'll have to let me know how it feels for you. Tracing the line back up again. And just doing your best if you're using your hand, like I said, might feel different. You can give some squeezes, you can use your thumb too. And then back down again. Ending just above the collarbone. And then let that release. You can roll out the shoulders if you need, turn the neck side to side, let that all go. Moving on to the smaller ball now. We'll be using the exact same technique, pinning and twisting. So either with the smaller ball or your thumb or index fingers, pinning and twisting. And we'll trace along the top of the cheekbone, just towards the ear, then come down between the upper jaw and lower jaw. This is where that masseter muscle is, and you'll pin and twist underneath the cheek line. I'm just showing right now. You'll come back out, and then you can come kind of just right where the lower jaw meets the base of the ear, and we'll pin and twist there for a while. So starting with one side, I got to remove my glasses so that I can do this better. Pinning and twisting, really, really gentle, almost right underneath the eye, on the top of the cheekbone. And start to pin and twist, tracing that line on the top of the cheekbone out towards the ear. Right in front of the ear, moving down just a little bit. So you're between the upper and lower jaw. Pinning and twisting. You might be able to do a little bit harder here. I'm tracing the line out to the cheek. Moving just a little bit lower, but still between the upper and lower jaw, and just above the lower jaw as you start to pin and twist back outwards towards the ear. And then once you get back to the ear, just moving down right at the back of the jaw, right at the bottom of the ear, pinning and twisting. Maybe you come a little bit behind the ear even. And then let that go. Switching to the other side, starting about just underneath the eye, on top of the cheekbone, pinning and twisting. Drawing that line as you pin and twist over the cheekbone all the way out towards the top of the ear. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure not to apply too much pressure. It's your face after all. You're not trying to bruise it with a deep tissue massage. And then moving down just a bit so you're between the upper and lower jawline, between the cheekbone and lower jaw, if that makes sense. As you start to pin and twist here, you might be able to do a little bit harder, pinning and twisting all the way towards the cheek, towards the lips, taking it down underneath the lips, but on top of that lower jawline, and pinning and twisting along the lower jawline, all the way back out to the bottom of the ear. Staying right there for just a little bit. And then you might come behind the ear. And then let that go. For a moment, just sit and notice the effects of that, what you feel, any circulation through the face, through the jaw, through the neck. Coming onto your hands and knees now. Knees underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders, spreading the fingers out wide, long spine. Take a few rounds of our cat-cow postures, letting the belly gently drop down, chest open forward, lift the gaze, take a breath in. Round the spine up to the sky, chin to the chest, crown of the head drops down. Breathe it out. Inhale, belly down, tailbone up and back, chest forward and out. Exhale, round the spine, stretch through the back. Belly down, chest forward, breathe in. Exhale, round through the spine. Find a flat back, a neutral spine here for a moment. And we'll start to move towards puppy pose next. Aim to keep your hips almost directly above the knees. You'll begin to walk the hands forward. You can lower the elbows down and lower the head down. And depending on how much space you have in your shoulders is how far forward the arms will extend. If it's more comfortable, the elbows can be bent, forehead resting on the hands. Otherwise, arms straight out in front. Either your forehead on a pillow, on the ground, or your chin could even be on the ground here, depending on how much space you have again in your neck. Maybe you've been making space today, but trying not to bring compression to the back of the cervical spine. And start to shift the chest forward so the elbows can bend if they're not already. Place the hands under the shoulders. Press your way back up onto all fours. And find your way once again to a comfortable seated posture. From here, you'll cross your right arm over the left arm like you're giving yourself a hug. Reaching the hands towards the shoulder blades, the scapula. Stay here with the arms, or if you find comfort and lifting the arms up towards the sky, maybe you wrap the hands around one another too. So either the hug or our eagle arms with the hands back to back or palm to palm. From there, letting the spine round back, chest drop forward, chin drop down to the chest. On your next breath in, sit back up tall. Unwind the arms. You might open the arms out wide between sides, and then crossing left arm or opposite arm that you did on top the second time, giving yourself this self hug and then rounding forward from there, or wrapping the arms up to the sky, back of the hands together or palms together. Any of those options works just as well as the next. And from whatever wrap or fold of the arms you found, rounding the spine back once again, dropping the head forward and down, making space in the upper back. On an inhale, coming back up tall, unwind the arms. And we'll move towards a supported fish pose here next, utilizing either one or both of your blocks or your pillow or cushion if that is what you have. You'll come to a seat and you'll take whatever, if you have a cushion, it'll be lengthwise behind you. If you have one block, it'll be behind the upper back, just about between the shoulder blades. And if you have a second block, you can use it behind the head. If you have one block behind your back and a pillow behind the head, that works fine. You can use no block behind the head as long as that extension through the cervical spine is comfortable for you. Legs can be crossed, legs can be long. You could even find butterfly pose here, soles of the feet together, knees open wide. I'll leave the low body completely up to you. Letting yourself come back to rest onto the support of whatever props you have chosen. If you have blocks, you can adjust them higher or lower depending on what level of support you need. Trying to find a sense of the chest being opened while you can allow the shoulders and the arms to rest downward. As we were working a lot in the throat today, it might be beneficial to bring to mind some awareness of what's called the throat chakra. The chakras are these energetic wheels of life or centers of energy in the body. They're everywhere, tens of thousands of them, but the 7 main ones line up and down the spinal column, and the throat chakra, as it's stated, exists in the throat. It's associated with the color blue. It's associated with our courage of expression, our ability to speak our truth in all situations and live our life the way that we are meant to. If you feel often like you have to hold back words or that it's difficult for you to bring up, especially difficult conversations, perhaps things that might seem confrontational, then working with the throat chakra can be beneficial to find the space, the support, the freedom to speak honestly, to speak with compassion, with care, with truth. Take 3 more breaths here. And slowly begin to exit the pose, using your elbows into the ground to support you as you lift your head, lift your chest, removing whatever props you do have underneath you so that you can make the space to lie down all the way flat onto your mat. Rolling the shoulders under the chest, opening the arms wide at your side, palms face up for receptive opening to the universe and what it has for you, or palms face down for a sense of grounding, stability. Try to find a position where you can be as comfortable as possible, where the whole body, from the back of the head all the way to the heels, is completely held. Where every last bit of tension from the body can peel away, layer by layer, bit by bit. And while the body rests, the mind can rest in the space of the heart. Experiencing stillness. Let it be. Let your experience of stillness be whatever it is, whether it's difficult or easy. Stay with it. Be still, be present, Be soft. Be content. Let it be. Start to bring your awareness back to your breath. Take your time, as much time as you need to start to softly, slowly awaken the body. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, roll wrists and ankles. You might stretch the arms long overhead, taking a full body stretch. Pointing through the toes or flexing through the feet. And then letting yourself gradually work towards bending the knees if they're not already. Rolling over to one side. And then pressing your way up to seated. Your sitting posture, sitting tall, reawakened. Eyes soft or closed, hands in the lap, or they connect together in front of the heart. Allow yourself a moment here to notice the effects of your practice. Lift the thumb knuckles to the center of the forehead for a moment here. Internally repeating, see the truth. Thumb knuckles to the lips, speak the truth. Thumb knuckles to the center of the chest, feel the truth. Trust that inner guide within yourself to always stay present in the truth of the reality as the world turns and turns, coming back to a steadiness that exists only within. Thank you so much for sharing your practice, your time, your presence with me today. As always, if you have any questions about anything that we've practiced, please don't hesitate to ask. If there's anything you would like differing variations for, reach out. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up or leave a comment below to let me know how it went. Subscribe if you have not already. I would appreciate it greatly. I post a new video here just about every week. So until we meet again, I hope you have a beautiful remainder of this week for yourself. Goodbye.